All right, let's slow this down for a second because the internet is doing what it always does, celebrating before understanding what actually happened. United States went into Venezuela and took Nicolas Maduro out of his own country. That alone should make people pause. Not because you like Maduro, he's a socialist dictator, but because this wasn't messy. It wasn't chaotic. It wasn't a proxy fight. And it wasn't even a war. It wasn't like some proxy BS like Ukraine. This was a classic snatch operation, man. Clean, fast, and professional. See the aircraft here. So 160 SOAR night operation. They went in. What I've been told is dealing with the anti-air. They dealt with that first, shut that down. That way, airspace was cleared so they can pretty much run operations without problem. Target isolated. So they're saying Delta Force or CAG, whatever they call it today. But anyway, extracted him. Middle of the night. That's how America does it, right? Now, minimal wounded on our side, and apparently all of them are recovering from their injuries well. No real reports of civilian casualties from what I've heard. A lot of dead Venezuelan soldiers is what I heard. Maduro's protection detail and some high-ranking officials as well. But that doesn't happen by accident. That happens when the best military in the world goes up against a force that simply is not in the same league. Okay. So let's get that out of the way right now. From a military standpoint, this was impressive, period. And the fact they got Maduro that easily tells us a lot about his inner circle. His guards were not elite. His protection wasn't loyal, or either they were incompetent, compromised, or bought. Honestly, probably all three. Because when the military does an operation like this, man, they've already had intelligence agencies, CIA already in there. They already know what's going to happen. They know everything. Apparently, Delta had a palace or the housing that Maduro was in built up in Kentucky to run mock drills through prior to this happening. So again, whenever the military plans to do an operation like this, man, intel has already came from the intelligence community. It's mapped out. It's pretty much sure thing. And when you're talking about a special mission unit like Delta, those guys are top tier and they're not going to play around. The other thing, though, is that apparently they were going to plan for this operation to be on the 25th, but because of other operations around the world, kind of pushed it back. Now, people are keep focusing on, well, first off, let me pop this up. This is meme of the year. I've seen 1,000 memes of this. Very, very funny. But anyway, what we've been seeing is lots of these where he's smiling, thumbs up, and acting relaxed. Now, here's a video of him saying Happy New Year.
Good night. Good night. Happy New Year.
Good night and Happy New Year, he says. You know, that doesn't bother me at all because that's what a man looks like that thinks he's still negotiating. A lot of people on the internet are speculating that he's done cut some kind of deal or whatever, but that's just a man that thinks he's got some leverage still. He just came from being the dictator of a country. He probably thinks China's going to come save him because apparently Russia has called on U.S. to immediately release Nicolas Maduro. China says U.S. should not be the world policeman. Man, I never thought I'd agree with China, but we really should stop, right? Now, this is where I start separating flag waving crowd from the flag waving crowd, because military excellence does not automatically equal moral clarity. Okay. And the second Trump started talking after this operation, the story told itself. They said it was about drugs. Okay, cool. Drugs are bad. Everyone hates drugs. Narco-terrorism is a perfect villain. It's the easiest sell in the world, and everybody bought it. And they're like, yeah, let's go get but if this was really about stopping drugs, Venezuela would not even probably be the focus. Mexico would be number one. Cartel leadership would be the focus. Transit corridors would be the focus. But instead, within minutes, the language pivots to oil. Rebuilding refineries, taking control of production, compensation through oil. That's not your typical law enforcement language. That's not justice language. That is called asset language.
Until such time as everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if...
Yeah, so there was talk of a possible second wave, meaning that if the leadership doesn't get in place. Now, hours after the vice president demanded the release of Nicolas Maduro, but Trump said today that there'd be worse outcome for her, probably, so you wouldn't survive, is what I get. Like you're not needed at this point. And obviously you have lots of Marines sitting off there, man. Marines would take that country in a few hours, and it wouldn't be pretty, especially looking at the resistance of the military thus far.
We needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do it. Get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will.
And then you had people online. Trump just captured Venezuela's Communist President Xi 17.3 trillion in oil reserves. The biggest economic boom in American history just started. All the bought and paid fors were posting that today. Now, anybody who's lived through the past few decades knows this pattern. They know it well. We've heard it before. Weapons of mass destruction, humanitarian intervention, liberation. Same script, different country. Man, you know, I mean, Bush sold us this for oil too. You know, we used to joke around in the military that wars are fought over oil. It's the neoconservative way, right? So forgive me if I don't pretend this was some kind of dare presentation like in the school with the helicopters. Now, let's talk about the cheering crowds. People in Venezuela are cheering. Yes, they were relieved. Yes, Maduro was awful. Check it out.
Yeah, come celebrate with us. We love everybody because you, America, has loved us so much. So much. Thank you, America.
Edgar, thank you so much.
But cheering crowds don't really prove moral legitimacy. We saw cheering crowds in Iraq, cheering crowds in Libya, cheering crowds in Afghanistan. Cheering doesn't mean what comes next is better. Cheering just means the moment is good. And I heard that rhetoric today saying, oh, you know, we went and took him out for the people. Well, if that's the case, we need to go to China and go rid him of Xi Jinping tomorrow. A lot of other countries too. Let's go to South Africa. I mean, why not go to all these countries and just take over? If that's the argument, then that's what we should be doing. So that's not the argument. The argument's not drugs. It's about oil, period. Now, the thing is that will it be good for America? Yeah. Will it be good for the oil companies? American oil companies? Absolutely. They're going to get rich. They're going to put the infrastructure and get rich. But does that also mean, from a moral standpoint, should we just go take whatever we want? Does that make us the good guys? That's the question, right? Now, the other thing you have to look at, would there be cheering crowds if Biden was extracted? Sure. Would there be cheering crowds if Trump was extracted? Sure. People are polarized by politics. So there'd be cheering no matter what happened. But history always says the moment always feels good right before things get worse. Now, here's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask. If America goes into another country and takes its resources, even from a bad regime, does that automatically make us the good guys? Tell me in the chat. Or does that just mean we're the strongest? Because there is a difference. And if the answer is we're strong and we can take it, then stop pretending this is about justice. That's empire. Just let's be honest with ourselves. I'm not saying I don't want to be on the winning team. I do. I do. I get it. I want our economy to do well. But you got to be honest with ourselves. Okay. Now, let's talk about what's really bothering people, because the mood online isn't just celebration. There's also resentment. You hear people saying that we fly into another sovereign country, neutralize defenses, capture a head of state, and extract him like a package. But we can't arrest a single powerful person here. There's no Epstein clients, no covert architects, the Afghanistan withdrawal disaster planners, not the lifetime intelligence liars, not even the financial criminals, nothing. So people are asking the question that the system hates. How does the state have infinite reach abroad and zero appetite for accountability at home? And that's not anti-military. That's not anti-America. That is anti-selective justice, because justice that only flows outward isn't justice. It's control. And that's why this operation doesn't feel like a win to a lot of people. It feels like a reminder that is that power gets used when the target is foreign and when it benefits some people, the rich elites, and disappears when the target is domestic and in the elite inner circle. That's why I've been saying since this year, because I've learned that it is not right and left. It is us and them, the elite ruling class. They use the division to keep us divided. They play the theatrics while they go eat dinners together and play this game. Pam Bondi is, here, narco-terrorism, conspiracy, importation, possession of machine guns in the short. What? Man, if I'm the president of a country, man, I'll have some machine guns too. And we're really going to say they're charging him with machine guns? Remember, she's anti-2A, though. I believe every patriot should be able to have a machine gun, grenade launcher, tank, whatever you want. But that's me. Now, let's talk about something everyone is pretending not to notice. Okay. Maduro doesn't look scared. He looks comfortable. That matters, because dictators don't smile when they think they're finished. They smile when they think they still have leverage. And Maduro isn't just a guy. He's a node. We're talking oil, banking relationships, foreign corporate ties, election technology overlaps, financial records. So China ties too. But this makes Trump's timing interesting, because in the last 24 hours, he's posted multiple of these. He's revived talk of Dominion, Smartmatic, and Venezuela. Now, I'm not telling you I have a smoking gun, but I do think it's interesting that he's starting to pump this up again now that he has Mr. Venezuela here. I'm just saying incentives align. If Maduro has documents, systems, or insights in anything that matters internationally, he's not just a prisoner, he's leverage. And Trump is obsessed with one thing more than anything else. It's his legacy, history books, vindication for 2020, where they keep telling him disinformation. He's lying about it. He brings it up quite often. The 2020 stolen election, he brings it up all the time. So if you think that angle wouldn't be explored now that the assets are in U.S. custody, you got to be kidding yourself, right? Now, I shared a post earlier on Instagram. I think has went viral on Instagram. I shared on YouTube Shorts though too. Banking. This is where everybody gets uncomfortable. For decades, there's been a pattern though, whether people like it or not. Countries that resist full integration into the global central banking system tend to have problems. They do. Iraq, Libya, Syria, Sudan, and now Venezuela. That doesn't mean Maduro was good. Okay. That doesn't mean socialism has worked. That doesn't mean Venezuela has some kind of moral paradise. But what it does mean is that the country wasn't fully plugged into the same financial control architecture as everyone else. And suddenly, after regime change, you hear the same words every time: stabilization, advisors, rebuilding, financial restructuring. That ain't military language, guys. That's economic occupation language. And now, this is where it stops being about Venezuela at all, because the operation wasn't just a local move, it was a signal. When the United States shows it can penetrate a country, neutralize defenses, extract leadership cleanly, that doesn't just speak to Caracas, okay? Before I get there, though, let me show you this. Congratulations, Bibi Netanyahu, for bold and historic leadership on behalf of freedom and justice. I salute your decisive resolve and brilliant action of your brave soldiers. Netanyahu and the Rothschilds support this. What does that tell you? It's beyond embarrassing at this point. So what I posted earlier was Nat Rothschild. Well done, Donald Trump. Okay, that's, whenever the Rothschilds is telling you job well done, it's a little. But anyway, going back to showing the world you can bust up in a bedroom in the middle of the night, extract leadership cleanly. It doesn't just speak to Caracas, it speaks to Beijing. And this is where things get dangerous, because when one superpower demonstrates decisive capability, it doesn't always cause de-escalation. Sometimes it causes acceleration. Sometimes it causes other powers to say, if that's the new tempo, man, we move now. And if you're China watching this, you're not thinking about Maduro, you're thinking about Taiwan. You're thinking, how long before that capability gets pointed at us? How long before something we consider internal suddenly becomes stabilized? China's biggest vulnerability isn't nukes, it's amphibious warfare. Crossing waters, sustaining logistics, moving armor under fire. It's hard. And it's interesting where China has been expanding influence and practicing. Talking South America, ports, infrastructure, dual-use facilities, including Venezuela. So when the U.S. moves hard in that region, this isn't just a regime change, it's board clearing. It's saying, this hemisphere is ours. And that kind of move can push China in one of two directions: pull back, or screw it, we'll accelerate. They're already circled around Taiwan, if you didn't know. And maybe that's going to say, well, hey, if they want to do that, we can do this. History shows that great powers don't usually slow down when lines get redrawn. They usually race the clock. So while people argue about drugs and oil, and the bigger question is whether this speeds everything up as everywhere else, it's because if China decides Taiwan is now or never, this operation won't be remembered as a one-off. It'll be remembered as the one that sparked it. So the bottom line is that we got to just be honest. Respect our badass military, our badass soldiers. Admire this operation. Clean. F around and find out. We'll come and snatch out your bedroom. You can also be glad a dictator got snatched up and fell, and still say, This wasn't charity. This wasn't liberation. It's damn sure wasn't about drugs. This was about power politics, resource control, financial realignment, global signaling. Pretending otherwise doesn't make you loyal. It makes you naive. Venezuela isn't the point. Oil is, banking is, China is, control is. And the real question isn't why Maduro fell. The real question is why justice never seems to land on this side of the ocean. And that's the operation nobody wants to talk about. I got another second part to this. I was going to put it into this video, but I didn't want to cloud it up. The second part, part 2, which will air tomorrow unless something catastrophic happens. We're going to deep dive into something connected to Venezuela that every patriot needs to know about. Something I talked about maybe 5 years ago. And it's the answer everybody's been looking for. But it's all connected. And it's going to show you how serious things really are. But I do want to know your thoughts on it, guys. Again, props to our military. Baddest dudes in the world. Men and women. Very capable. And you can be proud of our military. You can be happy a dictator fell, but you can also question at the same time. That doesn't make you disloyal. It doesn't make you anti-American. It doesn't make you Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever it is. It makes you an intelligent person that analyzes situations and tells the truth. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is Black Scout Survival. Always stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Black Scout out.
2, 3. 4, 2.